the gates. So I'm going to show you what's behind these super tall gates. As you proceed this way, you can see that there are vines growing on the other side. So if you're walking by, you get to enjoy bits of our garden. And what you may also notice in the corner of our garden is a chimney. And what does the other side of the chimney look like? This. So which begs the question, why is there a chimney on the far edge of the yard? I think that once upon a time, instead of trash being taken away to a dump, they burnt the vines, the leaves, the branches of this huge garden, which is nearly half of an acre. So as we go this way, I'm going to show you some of the plants. This plant right here is perfect for night pollinating animals like bats. See how deep it goes in, and see the light color. The light color is important so the bats can find their way to them. And believe me, there are a lot of bats here, and they nearly miss us. This is a part of the brick wall, part of the stone wall, and it shares with another yard. And my husband and I often look at this in the morning and wonder, why is the shape like this? You can see that somebody else came by and decided to put, instead of stone and cement, to put a light colored brick. And so that proceeds this way. There are limes on this property. This huge tree, which I'm not quite sure what the fruit of is. There's a palm tree that also, two palm trees, that we can only see the trunks of from where we sit in the, watch yourself honey, we're going up, where we sit on the terrace. So over here is the lower terrace, and the avocado trees obscure us from looking to the rest of the garden. So the garden is a mystery to us. Here is what I asked. We had guests over, and there is a ruin. It's just like in those English gardens where they have false ruins. They make it look like there was at one time a part of an old palace. So this is what I see from the kitchen window. You can see that there's no roof to it. There's bricks, there's a window, beautiful plants. But on this side is rubble. What could it have been? Could it have been a shed, which they call a bodega? Our guest said that perhaps, I thought it was an outhouse at one time because it's close to the house. And my husband said no, maybe, he's shaking his head. The guest thought that maybe it was a restroom for the guests to use. We'll never know, or maybe we will. Over here, which you don't see very often in American homes, that leads into the kitchen. This is where they put the washer and dryer, and the outside sink, which is called a pizza. And so instead of it being in the garage or inside the house, it has its own little roof. And then as we go here, look at this beautiful window in the Moorish style. You can look in there and see my husband use the bathroom. Let's be quiet for a second. You can hear the neighbors up above. This is probably the edge of the property line, and then these neighbors built walls to the back end of their house. And there's the poor baby. We think it's kind of colicky. And we're using their vines, and I can see that from the Juliet window in the den in the upstairs. They keep, in Mexico, their appliances outside of the house. I don't know, it's because it's made of block and brick and they can't bore into it, but that's the hot water heater. This, I believe, is the water purifier. And then on this terrace here, that's the pump for, it took us a long time to even see this. This over here is what the owners built into this terrace, and that's their jacuzzi. And just by the brick, we think that they added this whole terrace to house the jacuzzi. The house is got stairs, but it also has these ramps. And we learned the reason it has these ramps is because at one time there were renters who wanted to have this house for people with disabilities. To the right of us is the terrace that I mentioned. It's got a beautiful bodega ceiling, which is a brick ceiling that's slightly arched. These American builders are such great engineers to be able to hold a house floor, or in this case a balcony, and it's just, we had tremendous storms last night, thunder, lightning that shook the house, but I knew this house was solid, and that gives you an idea. Now, next to the terrace is my favorite part of the garden. This is where we barbecue. Okay, we barbecued once. What's nice about it is look at this beautiful wooden counter. This is so convenient. And you can prep here, and then you just pivot, and you cook your Korean barbecue, which we did, and then you can have a friend on the other side, which we did have, which was the gardener, the woman gardener, and we were just passing food back and forth to each other. I think this is a tremendous idea instead of being against the wall or any place else. It's actually a decorative feature, but it's just all by itself, standing all by itself. So let's go over here. My husband had never seen this. These are steps that lead from the upper terrace down here. There are steps to nowhere. There really is no reason to come back here. And then I want my husband to pan over here. We're going to go to this latter part of the garden, but this also will give you a feel how big this garden is, because we are already, this is only 2/3. So in the distance you see a bathroom, a working bathroom, flushing toilet, running water, its own water system. Over there is our neighbor, Debbie, who smokes and has a cat. And then a shed, which is called a bodega, which people don't seem to like covered garages, I mean fully enclosed garages. And then the turtle pond. So let's go over here. And in this garden there is grass, which we adore, coming from Arizona. There are also pesky squirrels, which our dog Emmeline, you see her, she's brown, she makes quick work of them. Over here is my mosquito enticer, which doesn't do a very good job, but mostly because it's competing with the light. The theory is that light draws them in, it also exudes CO2, which attracts them, and then a fan sucks them into a compartment where they desiccate and die eventually. Well, we still have problems. So let's go over here. This water is very deep and murky, and if you can see, there are two turtles swimming alongside each other. The big one is in front. Oh, they just dived deeper. Oh, too bad you can't see them. This also, these turtles come up. They have this island. Sometimes the avocados fall down. Right now there are flowers. Here is a restroom. Who has a restroom in their yard? I think it's also important because Mexicans have big families and they have big gatherings. So, you know, if the bathroom in the inside and the house has 4 bathrooms filled, the girls can go over here. So let's go this way. Once again, we're going to use all the hardscaping. This is our fountain that we use every morning. We switch it on, and it's still shady. It's so blissful here. And this is where we sit, and I drink my coffee, and my husband has his sweet rolls, and we just like, thank God for this beautiful garden. And then as we come down here, let's watch our step. This is how I walk around. I like to keep with my arms out for balance, because even though this is relatively smooth, cobblestones get you kind of wobbly. Over here, we have an oven. Probably a pizza oven. There's even some wood in it. So I've asked around town, and yeah, we could clean it out. I've got wood. I don't have a pizza paddle to pull it out, but isn't that wonderful? We have a pizza oven or a bread oven. And then, lastly, over here, if you can make a very sharp right when you come in, this is the garage and the bodega. And just to show you how little crime there is, or people aren't taking the gardener's radio. And our first day here, my husband left the door open of the car and his cell phone on there. And when I came back, the car was slightly open, the cell phone was in the seat, and the dogs were kind of in the back of the in the back seat. So that's what you get. Oh, that's what you see rather. In this one beautiful home's secret garden behind the walls. A garden that is named after the pomegranate trees, La Granada, that's been here and established for quite a while by the height of the trees, and has had many hands molding it who have decided, what about a pizza oven? What about a standalone barbecue pit? What about an in-ground terrace? What about we add a bodega over the front of the house so you can enjoy that in the morning or in the evening or when it rains? Well, mystery solved, kind of, sorta. Aren't we lucky?